Let me know if y'all can hear me or not. And I don't know if it's going to actually start recording before 10. Let's see. What's up, Rob Holland, Gusty Oinker, Russ Albright? Just let me know that y'all can hear me. I've got my mic on and stuff, but move that down some. I think that'd be all right. Another hot one today. I think it's supposed to start raining, which would be good because I'm kind of wanting to get the feedback of if it is raining in here, what's it sound like? I could imagine it's going to be like a fan, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain, so hopefully it won't. But according to the Weather Channel, there's a chance. Wyatt the Pilot, you finally made it. How's it going, TPG? Before I get into the stuff that I bought on clearance and stuff, Woodworker Wannabe was asking. I replied, or he saw where I was talking about the M12 pin or M12 brad nailer fitting in the 11 compartment deal, and he said, is there any pack outs that it basically will fit in without doing any customization? What about the ammo can? So ammo can, we'll go ahead and answer that. I had to take my drywall stuff out of this one. Was my easiest one. But you can put the M12 brad nailer in one side of the ammo can. It'll fit in there easy, so you won't have any problem with that. The only other pack outs, I don't have any of the toolbox pack outs, so it will fit. I actually keep mine in a 2-drawer pack out, so I'm going to walk y'all out here real fast for this one. I'm also curious to see if I can come out here to my truck and the Wi-Fi doesn't go bad, so we'll find out about that too. So I keep my M12 brad nailer with the M18. Both of them being in this 2-drawer, you got to put them in there just right. But I can keep the M18 and the M12 in the 2-drawer. And again, I don't have any of the like rolling box type toolboxes. I'm sure they'll fit in several of those because they're a lot taller than, you know, these things here. But if I go over to the other side, and a 3-drawer, I have to take these out real fast. I'm parked on a slope. It's going to want to shut the drawer every time. 3-drawer fits inside the 3-drawer too. So 2-drawer and 3-drawer pack outs. Also the ammo can, as far as the ones I've got, that's the ones that's going to fit in. I don't know if there's other ones or not. Let's see if I can get swapped around here. Like I said, I'm sure there's toolboxes, things like that. You could maybe even get a deep one out. I don't know. I've got those full of stuff. It'd take me a while to figure that out. I'll message you on the deep one if I have time to look at that. Let's get you set back up. So I figured I'd talk about that while we're waiting for some people to get in here for the tool part of it. So there's another answer on that. Let's see. That's awesome that it will work in there. You should do another truck update and show us the new improvements. I probably will at some point. I haven't added a whole awful lot. I've just more so moved stuff around, but actually I think I've added quite a bit in my back seat thing because I took out my back seat. And I want to say in my last truck loadout, the back seat was still, or the back half of the back seat was still in there, and I've taken that out so I could put pouches and stuff back in there. So I'll go ahead and start with just some stuff I bought on clearance in the last probably couple weeks, I guess. It may have been a couple weeks more so, or than that. I don't know. It's stuff I haven't even opened yet. I haven't even had time to do that. Open them and use them because they're not something I would probably, either they weren't something I absolutely needed or it's something that I might use one day, but it was such a crazy price that I went ahead and bought it. kind of like what I do in the tool hauls, except I didn't really have very many really good things that I didn't want to make a tool haul video. Of course, I got the Metabo Crown stapler, that was $149. I think normal price was $229. It came with a battery charger and all that stuff. I've talked about that. At my local Lowe's, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, they had the blue wire. So only the blue, like all the rest of them weren't on sale, just the blue. And I don't know why, but I got the 12 gauge solid 500 feet of the THHN, and it was normal price was $99. I got it for, let's see, I wrote them all down over here so I wouldn't forget, 26 bucks for 500 foot row. And again, I don't understand why the blue was on clearance. I don't know what they're doing with the blue wire. Surely they're not getting rid of blue wire. But then they also, I went back in like a week later and they had the blue 14 gauge wire on sale. So normal price on this was $70. I got this for $18. Again, I'll run these up in, like, if there's conduit and somebody wants to run a different type of switch and I need a different color wire or something or other. So plus even just testing out tools and strippers, and I'll run through this eventually. But I mean, I couldn't pass it up at that price. You're saving a ton of money right there. Rob said he'd like to see the tool update. The last one, the seat clips and latches where they were in the way. Yeah, I thought that maybe I had actually done a truckload out. I need to go back and watch my last one. It's, you know, sometimes people comment on my older videos and I actually have to watch the video just to see what was I talking about at the time whenever I was looking at it, because sometimes some of those things are like 2 years old and I can't remember that far back. Let's see, here's the Cobalt set. I made a post about this. It was like the deal of the day one day. I haven't even opened them to get them out of the package, but it was the hex drive, let's see, SAE, and then also metric set. So I think it was like 20 pieces total. I'll go ahead and get one of them out here. So this was normal price $79 and it was on the deal of the day for 14 bucks. So here is a 17 in the, so it's a basically an impact hex half-inch drive. Has a whole set here. This one has 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So from 8 to 19, no skips. And then also the SAE was 5/16 to 3/4. So again, 14 bucks. And again, I'll be able to, I don't know when I will use these because I don't typically run into stuff that, you know, takes this stuff. I just don't do it, you know, but, you know, I'll be able to take those and put them on my, either my CSI, whatever it is that you want to call that. I can also put them on my M12 stubby with an adapter, put them on this Milwaukee half-inch high torque right here. So $14, I wasn't going to pass it up. I don't know that I'll ever use them, but there'll be one day whenever I'll run into something, I'm going to need one, and I'll be glad that I spent 14 bucks and not have to run to Harbor Freight and buy one or do something like that. And Milwaukee's hard to get the sockets on and off compared to some other ones I've used. TPG, great deal on the wire. I started to get a little excited until I saw it was single, not 12. Yeah, it's just a single individual. And like I said, I don't know why they were clearance in blue. I mean, they still had all the black and red and everything else right next to it. And for whatever reason, they're clearance in blue. Rob Holland, did you see the new Wear a Tool Advent Calendar 2024? No, I haven't seen that. Has it got some good stuff in it? Have you seen where, or I guess, is there somewhere where you can see what's in it yet? Sometimes you got to wait until people put videos out and open. I don't know if, like, whenever they first put them out, if you can even know what's in it or if it's just a guessing game. Great deal at $14. Gone when I tried ordering. Yeah, and I went to go, I put some links for some of these things in the description. Of course, my Amazon, in case y'all didn't know, I've got an Amazon, like I set up they let me set up a place, I guess it's called Amazon Store. It isn't like you're buying it from me, but it's, I can put a bunch of stuff in there and and I can just link it instead of putting a bunch of links and stuff like that. And then all that stuff's always in there. That way I put that in every video. It's just a lot easier on me. But I put some links for some of these things that I could, whatever I could find. But there wasn't, like the Lowe's, that Cobalt thing's not on there anymore. So I guess they were just getting rid of them altogether. Let's see. I did get in my Milwaukee ECX bits, the 3-pack. I made a post about it, I think, as well, $7.99. I mean, that's not really like it's a crazy discounted price, but I can't get these like this at my Home Depot. And Jesus Strong let me know about them, and then I got them off Amazon. I've always went and bought, let me see if I got them in here. I normally carry one of them in here, yeah. I've normally always went and bought these at my Home Depot. This is the only thing that my Home Depot stocks that has the ECX bits inside of it. And I think this is like 10 bucks, but you only get one set of ECX bits. Now, you also get some other stuff as well. And this thing's supposed to strip. I've never tried it. I don't even know if that works or not. But to get 3 sets of them for $7.99, I just like to have some in every bag that I've got, so that if I've got something else on me, every pouch or whatever, I've got them with me. So again, those were $7.99 3-pack. It was on Amazon. Let me read the chat in between. Stefan, unfortunately, Europe is much worse when it comes to a good deal. You're on the other side of the pond and have them much more often, and they're much better. New set with bits, 3 sockets and driver, and a ratchet combo in that advent calendar. And then also a novelty salt and pepper shaker in the shape of wire handles. And that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I'll Google it whenever I get done here and see what it is. Let's see. And again, these are just random things today. Nothing that's like, oh, that's the best deal I've ever seen type deal. Also, my Home Depot put all their DeWalt knives on clearance for whatever reason. So I don't even know what the normal price on this one is, but it was $3.97. So it's one of those retractable. Let me see if I can get this out of there. Again, I haven't even opened any of these. Most of the stuff, I've had it sitting here waiting to open it and do whatever. But it also has something else on here. Let me get that off too. I got my doors and stuff open, so you might hear big tractors and stuff go by. So it's basically a retractable one, but it's also got blade storage, I believe. Let's see what this does. Yeah, blade storage in the handle, and a tether deal as well. So $3.97. But my Home Depot also had a lot of yellow stickers next to this one, but they were already all gone. This was the only one that was there whenever I got there. So I don't know if I don't know why Home Depot's clearancing out DeWalt knives, other than they do have those new ones that have just come out. So maybe they're making room for those, I guess. Not real sure on that. The other one thing I picked up, and this wasn't necessarily a deal, and I meant to look up the name before I came out here, but somebody suggested trying out the, I can't remember what the name of it is now. NIC Pro. It's a pencil set. So for 13 bucks, this was $13 on Amazon. That's the reason why I went ahead and tried it, because I normally run the pintails, and I'm still going to run the pintails. Like, none of those pencils in that pack. I'm definitely going to tell you they're not near the quality of these pintails right here. These are my favorite pencils, but these are even on sale. I think they're on sale right now for $10 a piece. A lot of times they're even more expensive than that, $14. I think they have a 3-pack that's a little bit cheaper per pencil, but it's more money up front whenever you buy it. So this one's the 0.9 millimeter lead. The pintails, that's what I buy. That's what I use for like marking trim and stuff like that whenever I'm cutting it, just so I got such a fine line. But this set came with a 0.9, 0.7, 0.5, and then 2 of the 2.0s, which those are like the Pica 3030. I'm trying. And also came with lead for all of them, erasers for all of them. So the fact that you're getting these little erasers here, extra leads for all your pencils probably, and then several pencils of different sizes, and they feel like they're, it said that they're metal. They're really light metal. If it is, I'm sure it's like a aluminum type thing, but they're not bad. For 13 bucks to get all of it, it's not a bad deal to use as pencils in places where you know you're going to tear up your pencil. Like I only use my pintails like while I'm estimating for my notes, while I'm making a drawing or something like that, just so I can write it real fine. And then like woodworking, I don't use it like in just my normal, I don't like mark drywall or anything like that with it. That's where I use the Picas and the Hultafors. So again, a set like this, just to get a bunch of leads, erasers, $13. I felt like that was a pretty good deal, and they seem like they're pretty decent pencils. Again, I haven't used them. I just now opened this just a minute ago to make it to where I could get out of the package. But first glance, they feel like they're pretty decent. And then I got the Atlas 46 Folio. This is the size deal I like to use for estimating because it's easier for me to carry this around with a tape measure, with a laser distance measure, all those things. Again, that's where I keep one of these pencils. I think this was $25 on Amazon. I just mostly bought it because it matched my vest and everything else. Let's see. I'm probably going to miss some stuff too. I've got a lot of stuff. Drywall pans, really exciting for you guys, I'm sure. So I went to Home Depot. They had them on clearance for $7.84. These are the 12-inch pans. But whenever I went up there and rang them up, they were actually rang up for $3.92. So I'll buy all these I can possibly get for $3.92. They all stainless steel. Because sometimes I mix up some stuff besides drywall mud and things like this. And then it's one of those where it's like I could spend 30 minutes cleaning it, or it cost me $4 and I can just, get rid of it. If it's something that's really bad, that's going to be a big amount of effort to clean out of it. Sometimes you mix up some stuff that's pretty gnarly. The one nice thing about this one that I noticed, and I haven't seen this on very many stainless pans, is that it's got kind of like a rounded edge inside the bottom instead of just being so abrupt. So that might be a little bit easier to clean. I haven't used it yet, so I can't tell you that for sure. Let's see, I got that. Let me set this over here. Let's see. Schlage keypad lock at my local Lowe's. I picked this up the other day. It's $64.06, normal price, $130. I install these all the time, like crazy, like the amount of people that use these. In the place where I used to work at, these are the locks that we used all the time. Again, it's brand new. It wasn't opened, wasn't anything. I'm trying to get it out so you can see what kind it is. So it's this kind of a lock. Keypads. This is one of my favorite keypads as far as programming it, all the things. It's really easy to do from the outside of the, you never have to take it apart again, basically, other than to change the battery. And it's really simple to change the programming code, the lock set, all that. So again, I install these all the time. So my thought is, if I've got a customer that ends up wanting one, and they normally cost $130, and I got this for 64 bucks, whether or not I charge them the whole $130 as if I went to the store to buy it, or just depends on the customer. But that's another idea, is when you're looking at clearance, normally I go and look at the tools first. Probably just hit the mic real bad. Normally I just go look at the tools first, and sometimes that's all I look at. But think about materials and stuff too. If it's something that you use in your line of work, and you're gonna for sure use it, you can always again buy it, and then whenever you're bidding your job, you're bidding it as if I have to go buy it at the store. Then you end up just making, so I would make another 65 bucks off of this lock the next time I install it, if I wanted to charge the customer full price. And again, whether or not I do that probably depends on the customer and all that kind of stuff. But that's something else that I picked up. Let me check the chat real fast. Let's see. After trying After trying all the cheap pencils, I won't ever buy anything than the Pentel. Yeah, as far as, there's nothing that's going to replace the Pentel, like in my pocket on my vest, or in my, in my estimating folio right there that I just had. And then again, I always use one whenever I'm doing trim work, just because I like being able to mark stuff real fine, where my cut, like for miters and things like that, where I want it to fit really tight, I make sure I do that. It's basically what some people say they do with a razor blade knife. You're getting that finer line so you know exactly what you're cutting. I use Pentels for tiling where a real precision is needed. Everything else goes with Pica. TPG, that's a good deal. We got something similar for Sonia not long ago, and she has had no complaints. I'm assuming that's probably the pencil set. Every cheap pencil finally become a storage for broken leads. Usually you cannot get them out either side. I'm having a hard time reading this morning. Hey, Ken Schuler, started watching your channel last week. Subscribed. We'll be going back and liking all your videos. I'm 35 and new to the tool world. Picked up some books and started watching a lot of YouTube. It's a rabbit hole, Ken Z. I don't know if it's Ken's or Ken Z as far as your name goes. But that's what Milwaukee and all this stuff, like I've got a lot of new tools in the last 4 or 5 years, like, and then I've gotten rid of several tools and things like that. So basically, like a little bit before I started my channel, it wasn't even that much before, probably like 6 months. I just started watching YouTube. Hadn't really watched YouTube much. I didn't know there were such things as tool reviews, and every now and then I would look up videos on like washing machines and stuff like that, just randomly if I couldn't figure out something, seeing if I could find it. And then I got to watching people working and all those things, and I got hooked on the Tool Boss, doing all the Milwaukee hacks and stuff like that. And after that, I started buying Milwaukee like crazy, and then Knipex I found by YouTube videos. I would have probably never known about those. All sorts of really good stuff out there on YouTube. Rob says he only needs his Pica, and more than anything, I need a fine line permanent marker over a pencil for writing on cables. Yeah, good markers are really good to have too, especially for a lot of things. I always carry either the Inksaw or the Sharpies. Those are the two that I've liked the most. TPG as supply chains crumble, having needs in advance is a great idea. Yeah, and I always, like, if it's something like that lock, I know I will install it somewhere. And if nothing else, I use that same lock like for a temporary, you know how if you're on a job and you're working it and you want to put a lock, like sometimes I'm working in a space like the one I just had a video for the other day. Right now I'm the only person working in there, but there may be a time where I've told them if my schedule gets too busy, y'all might have to bring other people in, to do painting or do whatever. But on that job site, say I want to leave my vacuum and I want to leave just some other random tools, I can take one of those keypad locks and put it on a door inside of that space and then put my code in it. And then basically I have myself my own little storage room. So sometimes I will use those locks even. So even if I don't sell that, as far as installing it for somebody, I will use it as a temporary keypad for myself. And the good thing about having a keypad instead of keys is, like, if I'm on a job site, like if I'm working in a house that nobody lives in and I need somebody else to go by and do something, on the phone I can just say, well, you can use code such and such and get in, and I can just take that code out the next day, and it saves me a trip from going over there and opening the door for somebody. I mean, a keypad lock is a really good thing. Like I said, it's no different than like what the realtors use and all that, and they put it over a doorknob. I just install the lock actually on the door itself for that. Stefan said he buys service parts in bulk to get a better price. It all pays off when you install those for your client. Yeah, like I said, if you're doing something, like if there's something out there and that's like if I go to buy MC cable or Romex, they got it in 15-foot things, and my job that I need might be only 15 foot. That's all I need, and I could spend $20 then on 15 foot, or I can spend $100 and get 250 foot. I know I'm going to use 250 foot at some point in time of whatever it is. It's silly to spend $20 on 15 foot. You just got to look at it as it's a long term. You're going to make the money, and then again, you could charge the customer the 15 foot cable price at Home Depot. You don't have to divide out your foot price on your other, because you would have had to went and bought 15 feet worth of wire to do their job, and they're only going to pay you for 15 foot, so they need to pay you as if I had to go to the store. The bulk savings, in my opinion, should always come back to you, because you're having to be out that kind of money up front and then having to hold on to that material in the hopes that you are going to use it. You may not end up using it, and then you'd have to eat all that. So again, I think it's a really good thing that you should think about if you are in a business for yourself. Let's see. Thank you, Rob. I fell in love with Milwaukee. I love their stuff, but this channel got me in decline. I swear they make amazing stuff. Ken, so when your wife starts complaining, you just point your finger at Joey. Yeah, I have so many people that comment, my wife this, my wife that, and Lockhammer, that's going to be in the guest of the trade today. He also, and I mentioned it in the video, but he's got an MCT bag, MCT Blackout, that he just bought, and he bought his granddaughter one. She's going into the electrical trade. But he sent me the pictures for the MCT bag, but I already had plenty of pictures for what I wanted to do with his video, his video today. So I told him I'm just going to do this one later. And but he said I call this bag the Morgan's Fault bag because all the tools that are in it are all stuff that he saw on the channel. I always say there's probably a lot of wives out there that hear my little intro music come on. They're like, oh no, here comes some more money out of the pocket. Let's see, like Joey said, it's a rabbit hole for sure, but a fun one. And there's good people here that you can ask questions. Yeah, it's made a world of difference, like in my tools that I have just by watching YouTube. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are influencers that are just showing you a tool to make you buy them sometimes or do whatever, and they'll tell you every tool's good. So you got to be careful and watch several videos. But for the most part, just somebody showing you the tool, whether they are trying to just tell you it's good and it's not. But if you can see it and see people actually having it in their hands, and then hopefully maybe even see somebody using it a little bit, you can make a decision for yourself no matter what that person says, whether it's good, bad, or whatever it is. So it's just helpful to actually see it out of a package in somebody's hand, see what they say about it, especially if they can zoom in on parts of it that you got questions about. Let's see, Johnny Everett, shout out from the UK. Do you think Klein will make more metric products in the future? Love your videos, mate. It seems like it. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised. Like, I'm surprised at the amount of metric stuff they put out in the last little bit because they just typically have never done it. So the fact that they are doing it means to me that they might be trying to get more into that, which we run into more metric stuff probably here now just because of global shipping and all that kind of stuff than what we used to. Like back when Klein was Klein, like in the day, and they were about it here in the USA, we didn't have very much metric stuff at all. So it wasn't worth it for them probably, I'm sure, to make it. And I know some of y'all have a hard time even getting some of the Klein stuff, so maybe they're going to do something to make it easier for you guys to get those as well. Again, they make really good tools. I mean, like I said, it's not like Knipex and then Klein for me. It's Knipex and then Klein. I feel like a lot of the Knipex pliers that I use, I do like better, but there are some Klein tools that I like better than Knipex also. And again, neither one of them are bad. They're just different. Let's see. Joey, I use SIM card mobile alarm. It was less than $40. Is that for like a door lock thing? I'm assuming SIM card mobile alarm. Those locks on doors are so insecure that they use for real estate. Yeah, and in all reality, every lock is insecure for the most part. If somebody wants to get in, I mean, I could go and get in any house I wanted to, and half the houses that they build these days, if they got vinyl siding, all you need is that DeWalt knife that I just showed you right here, and you can get in. I can't tell you how many houses just by cutting through the wall if you wanted to and kicking in some drywall. I mean, some of the stuff they build today is pretty sorry, in my opinion. But they always say locks are just to keep, honest people out. If somebody really, really wants to get in anywhere, especially with the tools we got today, you can pretty much get in anywhere. Let's see. Let me make sure. I got one more clearance thing. I was getting ready to say, let me go through and make sure I've covered all that before we just get into just chatting. As I said, I'm going to try on these videos. If I have something I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do it at the beginning so that people watching don't have to watch an hour in to see stuff. So, Milwaukee sweatshirt. I won't be wearing it anytime soon. It's 86 degrees in here today, but I guess that's why they put it on clearance. I think normal price on this is like, I want to say $40 or something. I got it for $25 on the deal the other day, and I didn't have any of them that actually had the Milwaukee logo on it. This one is a free flex pullover hoodie, and I wear sweatshirts like this in the wintertime pretty much to work out of all the time. I don't know if I wear this one with it having this huge logo on it, but I've got a ton. This is the only Milwaukee one. I've got lots of Milwaukee sweatshirts, but all of mine just have like the little tag, like my hat, Milwaukee hats and stuff have on it. This is the first one where I got one where it actually had their logo on it. And I'm sure that's why they were clearancing it, because it's the middle of the summer and nobody's buying sweatshirts. Maybe they got to get rid of them. So, but I went ahead and bought it because I know whenever it does become winter time, this will probably be regular price again. I think regular price is even $60. It's on sale right now still for $40. I think that might be that might be it on all the stuff I've been saving. You know, other than that, I've made videos for the other stuff. I've got one other video already recorded of another little tool. Um, let's see. I'm gonna double check and make sure I don't see anything else. Also, the job that I made a video for the other day. So here's another thing for if you're in a business. I think if you're in a business for yourself and you go and do demo and you go and do, you know, whatever, if you're in the whole process of it, anybody that's in demo to me, you can make a lot of money, but I always think of things whenever I see it. Do I really need to throw this away? Now, you can't keep everything. If you keep everything, you'll have barns galore full of stuff. But like I said, I've got drop-in lights, LED flat panels behind me. I've got those on Facebook Marketplace. But even if I don't sell them, I know I'll have a job where I'll be able to tell the customer, hey, I've got some of these lights used. I can sell them to you for $50 a piece. They're normally like 100 or whatever. And then I'll make money off all 4 of those. Same thing, that job that I did a video for the other day, inside of all those units that had the sink in every room, you know, they were wired up to the basement up inside of one of these with a GFCI, and they're like the almond ivory color, and I don't keep these because very rare I run into these. It's almost always white. And again, I won't sell these to a customer like they're new. And in fact, even sometimes if I get to a job and it's going to save me a trip from going to the store to go get this color, but I'm going to take these out of there. I got several of them, and you know, these GFCIs, sometimes they can cost you $20 to $30 a piece at the store. I'll take these out and I'll have one with me in my truck in case I run into it, and you can always offer the customer and say, hey, I've got this one and it wasn't really used. I can sell it to you for $10, or I can go to the store and buy one for $30. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, you know, I'll take the $10 one, because there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I don't even think there's ever been anything even plugged into this thing. Even the insides, they all look, I mean, not even really all that old. I want to say they must have just had them installed not too long ago. So again, don't take it as I'm going to put in a used receptacle to a customer and pretend like it's new. I would let them know up front. I would always do that. And like I said, it may even be a thing where I give that to a customer for free when I run into one. And that's just customer relations that you're building with somebody. If it was going to take me a trip to the store that would make me late for my next service call or whatever it might be. Again, there's a million ways you can look at things, but I always, whenever I'm demoing stuff, same thing as the clearance deal on products. If I can use it, if it's something I'm going to eventually install for someone else, I'll go ahead and save those for a little while at least and see what I run into. So let's see. There's Matt HMM, made it in here. Hi buddy, day I have little time but no video premiere chat. Let's see. TPG, being a tool user herself, Sonia has never complained about my buying tools. That's always nice if your wife is into it too. So it's kind of like with anything, whether you're like, I've got a bunch of kayaks and stuff up here above where we go. We haven't went for a little while, but where we used to go kayaking quite a bit. But you know, if your wife's into the same thing as you, a little bit less arguments about what kind of money you're spending. Let's see. Tooling with Newman actually has demos of tools. He's doing well. That's nice. Yeah, I've watched a few of his videos. He was back in one of the Guess the Trades. Rob Holland, my wife likes it when I buy stuff for myself as I buy her things all the time. Yeah, that's one of those thinking ahead, Rob. You go and butter her up with something, and then you break the news that you just bought this new track saw, or you just bought whatever because you found it on the deal. The YouTube has really hurt me. Again, my wife doesn't care. She never says anything about anything I buy. But you know, the people always say their wife would come out to the garage and be like, well, when did you get this? But, oh, I've had that forever. You know, I can't do that anymore. You know, I wouldn't be able to do that because I make videos of stuff now. I tell you how much it cost. I tell you when I bought it, all those things. So all those kind of little tricks are out the window for somebody who, so you need to think about that if you think about starting a YouTube channel, that everybody, your wife is going to know when you bought the tool, where you bought the tool, and how much you spent on it, unless you lie to your audience in the same way. And again, I'm not saying I've lied to my wife in that way. She doesn't care. She never has said anything. Let's see. Gusty Gusty Oinker has 3 Morgan's fault bags. Stefan, yeah, the SIM card alarm was an additional safety when you leave tools on site. I'll look into that one. I don't know if it may be something I can get, and it may be something that's mostly over there, but I'll see. Not for me, I have to wear a company logo. Yeah, I don't have to because I'm my company, but I don't typically wear stuff that has a huge logo of somebody else on it, But I could end up wearing that under my vest or something, and you wouldn't ever see the Milwaukee 2 just as a sweatshirt if I'm working and it's cold. But a lot of times, again, like I said, I do interior work, so I wear hoodies typically to get to a job during the winter time and whenever I'm leaving. But while I'm working, I can't really hardly wear one because they've got their heat on or whatever, and it's always too hot anyway. So normally I dress the same all year round as far as while I'm working, because inside my spaces are typically conditioned. Every now and then it's not. Like I'm doing that quadplex this year. I'm sure there'll be some work I do where HVAC won't be turned on yet with that one. I've also got to get me some new, that's why I got my Pro Knees out here. I don't know if y'all ever ran the Pro knee pads, but I've had these for years, and I need to get me some new covers for them. But I'm going to try to clean these. I was doing a job where it had glued down carpet, and that stuff just gooped up my knee pads. I've also thought about, because it cost me like $42 to buy these. I got like custom made. I sent them measurements and all those kinds of things. But it costs like 42 bucks to buy a new one of these, and also this. But I can, for like 96 bucks, you can get the knee pads that are just this top section that don't go all the way down to your ankle. And I've always been curious about how I would like those. I like this part, but then there's times where I don't like this part. So I actually thought about, instead of spending $42, using those in places where it's nasty, and just keep that and then buy me the new pair of the normal size ones. So I don't know if any of y'all have had the shorter version of the Pro Knees. If anybody's got those, let me know what you think about it. Let's see. Matt HMM, I have the Costco Air Mesh 32-degree shirts with our company name on it. There's no cooler shirt than those. I've normally been wearing, these are all Columbia PFGs, which I get mine on eBay. Like I've got a search with my size and like the title of it with price plus shipping, lowest first, and then only buy it now. And then every so often I'll just get on there and see what there is on there, because normally if they've got anything wrong with them, it'll be like one little spot or something, and I'm going to get something on them in no time anyways. But you can get these shirts for like less than $10, and you go buy them new, they're 60 bucks. I ain't spending 60 bucks. I just bought myself 3 Under Armour shirts off eBay that are kind of like these Columbia shirts like this. I haven't worn them yet, so I don't know. I don't think they're going to be as cool, and there's only certain Columbia shirts. Like there's like 3 of them that are different materials, and there's only like one of the 3 that I like. So I always have to zoom in on pictures and see if I can see like the little, I don't know if I can even get it zoomed in on here or not, but there's like little squares. If you can see those, that means it's like super thin. And there's some of them that aren't that thin. I like the ones that are super thin. But that's all the tools I got, so I'm just going to stay out here and chat now. So if you're watching still, wanting to see our clearance deals, a lot of them aren't even tools. I'm pretty sure I got them all. Let's see, Milwaukee EXE bits. I wrote them all down over there. A couple misses that I had on Facebook Marketplace this week. One I mentioned the last time was the M12 cable stapler. Somebody had it on there for $70. It was still in the box and everything. And I tried to get it, but I felt like it was a scam. So I ended up not even trying to get it, because I just felt like in the talking back and forth, I don't think it was a real thing. Then I had some pack-out drawers. Somebody had a set of the 3 pack-out drawers, the 3-drawer, for $100 yesterday, and I just couldn't meet up with them. I tried 3 different times of some different times, and something was always happening, so ended up not getting those either. But I was going to go ahead and buy them for $100. I don't really need them in my truck right now, but I'm thinking again in the future, they can always be storage in my garage, and then if I get a van later, I figure I'll probably take all my drawers out of my truck and just have pack-out drawers in my van like crazy. So I'll take any, if I can get half-price drawer units, I'm going to buy them every time I can find them. Justin Richards, morning y'all. About to head to Home Depot to find some solar floodlights. I I think Justin will be in the next guest to trade, so I'm pretty sure he's next up on the list. I want the Milwaukee flannel too. It's only available online at the moment. Yeah, I don't. The stores probably won't start putting out like the sweatshirts and the heated hoodies and all that kind of stuff for at least in my area for a while. And now it might get colder in some other areas a little bit faster. TPG, I offer gently used stuff every now and then. Let's see. I don't have near as bad of a lag today for some reason between my phone and what I'm saying. So sometimes it messes with my mind. Like I think that I need to wait and let myself catch up on the phone and not say anything. But then I'm like, well, that's just going to make a long period of time in there where nobody's saying anything. I also tried today. You can see up here on my TV. I was trying some stuff to see what I could put on that with some photos on a USB drive. And for some reason, some photos it was working and some photos it's not. But I was trying so that, because that's the one thing about lives that I don't like is like if I wanted to show you, like say even the price of stuff or whatever, there's no way for me to do that. Or if one of these lives where I talked about, I've got several of the mean comments that people have sent that maybe YouTube held or whatever, and I screenshot them. I've been holding them for a long time. One of these lives, I think my wife is going to come out here and we're just going to do like, I'm going to let her answer the comments that they make, so it's not like me answering for myself. I said it would be something like those mean tweets, like whenever celebrities read the mean tweets of themselves. But I was trying to figure out some way of how, I can get the actual comments somewhere where maybe y'all could read them. So I did figure out how to put a USB drive in that. Of course, I can also hook up a computer to it, but that's going to be a little bit harder. And then I can scroll through stuff and flip through here and go to different pictures and stuff like that. But for some reason, some pictures I put on here is not showing up, and then some of them are. So I'm not real sure what that deal is. So I'd have to come out here and test it every time. But anyways, that's something I've been working on. I'm trying to learn something every time I get on here of some way to make it better. So if y'all have got any suggestions or anything, you guys can let me know. Same thing with other videos. Like here was Woodworker Wannabe's question, which I'd have to take you probably over and zoom it in, or me and my wife could probably sit back here close to the TV and get the screen back, for example, on the one. But for the M12, will it fit in boxes and those things? So that way I was just trying putting a comment up there to see what it would look like. But that's what I was doing with that. So hopefully something like that might help in the future to where I can put pictures of stuff up here that I'm talking about, whether I'm talking about a job or whatever it might be. Justin Richards, I love Acme Tools. I like their stuff. I just wish you didn't have to pay, like, what is it, $1.99 to get free shipping. That's the times I've ordered from them. Like, that's where I got my DeWalt table saw, because it was over $1.99. I hate paying shipping. It doesn't even matter to me if I pay the same price. It's like Amazon has ruined me to where it's like, oh, I can't pay $5 for shipping. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. Even though when it all adds up, it's really not a lot different. But that's why I don't buy as much stuff from them and Ohio Power Tool and other places. And that's why I end up getting it at Home Depot. Plus, I like shipping it to my store at Home Depot because I don't like if I'm at work all day and then they deliver a table saw or something out here and set it on my porch. Very unlikely something's going to happen to it, but something could. Which, I mean, I've got cameras and all that kind of stuff that I would know that it was happening, but I typically just ship the stuff to my store, stop by there and pick it up on my way home, and then that way I can open the box at the store, because I've heard stories of people at Home Depot too. You might order something that's 3 pieces and then you only get like 2 of them, and then sometimes the other one comes later, sometimes it never comes. I always like going to the store and open it and making sure everything's in there, and then that way I can deal with it right then, and they can't say, well, we don't know that you didn't get it, all those kinds of things. Like that. But I wish they had better shipping, like to where it didn't cost you money, which Acme's isn't that expensive depending upon what you buy. Justin says free shipping minimum always has me shopping for more. That's what ends up happening to me too. That's why I don't go there. Let's see. My air mesh shirts are 4 for $20, sometimes 15. That's pretty good. So air mesh, I'm gonna look them up. 74, it's a deal on the cable stapler. Yeah, see, I messaged him because he actually lived in the town of the place where I filmed that project investigation job, and that's not normally a town I go to. It's kind of the opposite direction of where I work. And I messaged him and said, which it actually, his little location thing said he was in the town that I actually work in, and I messaged him and said, I can pick this thing up today. And he said, well, actually, I'm in this town. And so I said, well, I'll be there tomorrow. I said, but, you know, I can't guarantee you that, you know, you'd be able to meet up with me or whatever tomorrow. That's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. And he said, well, if you'll send me $10 Cash App, I'll pay for gas to drive and bring it to you today. And I was like, my guess is, I don't know if people put stuff on there for dirt cheap and then see if they can get people to give them $10 to hold it or $10 for this. And then that's all they do, and you never actually see anything. I felt like it was pretty fishy, my conversation back and forth with him. So, but I would have bought it for $70 for sure, and it was in the box. I could have even probably taken it back to Home Depot with my one receipt if I wanted to, but I would have kept it or gave it to somebody though. Not worth getting scammed. Yeah, I don't mess with that. Let's see. Nissan S141, the job you're doing, are you doing it alone or do you have workers? I might have my friend. Again, I work by myself. My own business is just me. So I work for myself. I'm 100% no employees, nothing along those lines. But on jobs like that one, typically there's me and another guy. He's his own business, so he's just like I am. But we work together. I help him on his jobs. He helps me on mine, and then we just split stuff and, you know, work out the money and all that kind of stuff. Typically, he helps me on jobs like that one, but it's pretty far from his house. It's because he lives the opposite side of the town that we normally work in compared to me, so it's even double the distance for him. He's still going to come help me some, I think. And again, I told him up front, I'm going to work there whenever I'm available because I am slammed right now. I've got so much work, it's just coming out of my ears. But they really wanted me to do it, and I like them as a customer, so I told them I'll come and do the bulk of things, like the important stuff, get it all in there, and then there may be some finished stuff that you're going to have to hire out. It just depends on what my schedule ends up turning into at the time. But I typically 100% just work by myself or with that one other guy, and that's about it. So we don't usually get very many other people on our jobs. And it depends on the time frame. Like normally, if I went to a job like that one and they told me they wanted it done in, you know, 2 weeks, I'd be like, well, you need to find somebody else because I work by myself and I'm not going to get it done in 2 weeks. That's just how it's going to be. So, so I always upfront expectations, but the customer, try to let them know as much as possible. Let's see, where were we at? This there you go. Rob, need to run to the shop. I'll be back later. See you, Rob. I'm on my way to Ace to buy a 106-piece socket set from Milwaukee. So excited. Yeah, their socket sets are nice. If they're the square sets, I've got those in my drawer down here. I really like them. I didn't really 100% need them, but I wanted them to have them in the cases so I could put them in my truck to take with me because all my Craftsman sockets and stuff that I use in my garage, I keep those on those little pegboards. I think I've showed you those before, but I'll flop you around here. So I keep all, like this is a really old Craftsman set and it don't have everything. Like it's got missing stuff, but I've got metric and SAE. But I don't, like say I need to go to a job, which I carry a 3/8 whole set in my truck all the time, but I take my, I think it's in this drawer here. So I've got 1/4 inch sets and a 3/8 set there. My 3/8 set I keep in my truck are impact sockets, but I keep these so that if I'm going to a job where I know I might need a socket set, I can just come in here and grab these and go. But I really like them. I kept finding them on deals, deal of the day on Home Depot, so I didn't pay like full price for them or anything because again, they weren't something that I had to have. So I just put them in a list. I kind of watch them for a while, and then whenever I find the right deal, I go and buy it. Justin says he's got 2 Vera socket sets, probably going to send one back. Yeah, you said you had like way too many sizes and things like that. But the Zyklop is amazing. Yeah, I keep seeing them in every loadout, and I still haven't bought one. And then I bought this little thing just to see, because I didn't have anything that even has that kind of head on it. So I was just seeing, I decided to buy this for cheap just because I know I could probably still use it on little things around here, just to see how I like that rotating head as a screwdriver or whatever it is, to see if I like it. I probably need to end up getting myself one. That's why I was curious about the advent calendar that Rob was talking about, what was in it. I thought maybe it might have one in there. Wyatt the pilot's back. What did you miss? You missed it all. I gave away like 7 tools in the last little bit, Wyatt, and you missed every one of them. The stapler was stolen. Yeah, like I said, it was either stolen or he doesn't even have one. It was actually even listed as the M13 cable stapler. So that's probably why he wasn't getting very many comments on it. But the fact that somebody does that too, then sometimes that leans me towards this is somebody who doesn't really know what it is. And then the fact that he wanted me to send him money, I was like, this sounds like a Prince of Nigeria or whatever story all over again. So I'm like, I'm not even messing with it. Matt, unfortunately, that's the most probable thing, unless it was a usual shameless scam. Yeah, and then it's been harder to sell. Like, I used to sell and buy stuff on Facebook all the time, and now selling stuff even, that's like my Vito MB5B. I've had it on there for like whatever. Just if somebody wants to buy it from me, I'll sell it, and then I'll buy it again next year during the promotion. Until I get to the point where I have time to load it up. Like sometimes I'll buy stuff like that. I'll put it on there. If somebody wants to buy it and save taxes and all that kind of stuff, then I'll go ahead and sell it to them, and then I'll rebuy it whenever it comes time for me to finally have time to see if I'm going to set it up and use it in a certain way. But like, people will offer you, like, I'll give you $100 for it. You know, I'm not selling it for $100. But I think everybody thinks people selling tools on Facebook are all crackheads and basically will sell it for whatever. It's like, I'll sit on it because basically I just put it on there for in case somebody wants to buy it before I end up fully loading it out, before I use it and all that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, if I end up needing it, I can just buy it again if I sell it. But yeah, I think it's been harder to buy stuff and sell stuff. Like buying stuff, I can't, just like those pack out drawers, I just couldn't work it out with the guy. I mean, I was going to pay him the price that he was asking. I offered to come pick it up at one time. Then he asked me to come later. And then I waited around to the later time. Then he asked me to come later again. I'm finally just like, nah, forget it. I'm not even going to mess with it. It's like, don't want to sell it too awful bad. But it's been harder to buy and sell on Facebook. Fentanyl enthusiast. See, do you have the 1/2-inch set, Joey? The 1/2-inch impact set I've got. I don't have the 1/2-inch regular sockets because I don't run into those sizes. It's pretty much only in my garage, and I just take my impact sockets. I bought the 1/2-inch impact sockets, even though, you know, they're thicker and all those things, but the few times that I need one, I can take one of those and put it on a ratchet if I need to, and then just use those. But then also I've got impact sockets if I need an impact socket. Yeah, 1/2-inch is a size that I just don't use all that often. 3/8 is probably, that set's probably my most common size, and then of course it's got a lot of the 1/4-inch sizes in it. And then I just like the 1/4-inch if I need a smaller size. I just like having that smaller ratchet mechanism and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Terry Burton, Joey, how much time does your average job take, including travel? How many jobs do you average per day? So the town that I drive into typically takes me like 20 minutes in the morning. And I typically, that's almost where I work every day. Every now and then I work by my house, but it's a smaller rural community, so it's few and far between. It's mostly like people that know me, and you know, it's whether it's somebody's relative or whatever it might be. And most of the time, currently right now, I just do jobs during the day, and then in the afternoons, I'll go do a service call or maybe 2, just depends on what my job is. Basically, at the moment, my service calls, I'm building up that customer base. I probably got maybe, of course, I think this is probably about in August of 2022, I think was whenever I started this by myself. So it's been about 2 years now. And I probably have maybe 50 normal customers that every time something's wrong at their house, they call me. But of course, that's few and far between. You know, something's not wrong at one of those 50 people's house every single day. So it's just hit or miss of whenever they need something. And again, you probably ultimately in a service call thing like that, you're going to have a lot of customers to be able to stay fully booked all day long. But I basically fit those in around my bigger jobs. So like the one that I had the video for, I will go work at a job like that, maybe from 7 o'clock till 2 o'clock every day. And then if I don't have any service calls, I might work a little later, or I just quit at 2 o'clock every day. And then I would basically schedule my service calls for the afternoons whenever one comes up. Or if there is somebody that needs one early in the morning because I need to meet with them or do whatever, I just go, I swap it. I go there first and then go work on my other job. But basically every day I work on a bigger job, and then I fit my service calls in around there. And again, long term, I want to be just service calls, but it's going to take a while to build up enough customers that you stay busy. But I also don't care if I get super busy, because I'm planning on that being like my long term, where I'm going to be in a point where I don't need to work all day long. I just want to basically do some service calls every day, go do one or two, make enough money for my trips and to make myself some money. And then, you know, it's just doing stuff that I like doing. I like service calls better than I like big jobs, just because there's always a puzzle piece in it. You know, I think that's what I like about doing electrical and things like that more than anything, is figuring out stuff that's wrong and all those kinds of things like that. But normally I work, some days I'll work the whole 8 hours, but I very rarely put in an 8-hour day anymore. I put in typically, like I said, 7 to 2, whatever that equals out to be, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 7 hours. I don't take lunches or anything like that. And then I come home and cut my grass, or I come home and do whatever. Like today, I'm probably going to sharpen my lawnmower blades. But I'm at a point in my life where that's what, like 10 years ago, I worked 80 hours a week, you know, every single day, all those kinds of things. I'm just not doing that anymore because I've got myself in a position where I don't have to. I could if I need to, but at this moment right now, I don't have to. But typically, usually I work about 7 days. I work on a big job. I might do 1 service call, 2 service calls a day. That's about it for the most part. And then some days I don't have any service calls, but I always, pretty much Monday through Friday, I'm working on a job somewhere. Let's see, Jay Daniels from Thomasville, North Carolina. What do you think of Flex? I don't have any of their tools, Jay, but I mean, a lot of people really like them. The people that I've watched on YouTube that use them anyways, it seems like they like them. They like the power of them and all those kinds of things, but I don't know anybody personally that owns them, so I don't know how much credit you want to give to somebody. But for the most part, some of the people that I've watched use them that say that they're pretty good, I trust their judgment, because I've heard them say other stuff's bad, or, you know, vice versa. So I can't imagine they're bad, but I don't know for sure. I don't have any of them. I haven't even tried them. I haven't held one in my hand other than at Lowe's there at the thing, but I haven't held one in my hand and actually used it. I don't know nobody in my area that I know has them and uses them. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. It's pretty hard for a company like that to jump into a market of battery platforms where people already own tools and batteries, to get people to just, you know, start taking them and using them whenever they've already got all these tools that work on this battery. So I think they're having a hard time, you know, getting in. But most people that have bought them, I haven't heard any problems with them. I do like that littler saw that they've got. It's like a belt-driven saw, real small, but it's like a full voltage, probably pretty powerful. I'd like to try it. Let's see. 7 tool for everyone who commented. Oh, 7 tools for everybody who commented for the giveaway of the tools. Yeah, I might do I've been pondering on what I want to do for the 20,000. We're getting close, which all my views and subscribers and all that stuff has like dropped down in the last little bit, but I don't know if that's because it's summertime. I don't pay attention. Like, I don't go back and look at last year's analytics. Like I said, I don't pay any attention to that stuff. I look at it whenever I open it because it's there. But it's like I'm not getting up every day and saying, oh, how is this video performing? what could I have done to get more subscribers or more views or whatever, because ultimately my feelings on it is you're at the mercy of YouTube. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. Like, I just have a feeling that basically YouTube puts you up in people's recommendations or they don't, and then that's how you're going to get views. Because sometimes I have a video that I'm like, I don't see why this one did 35,000 views and this one over here did 1,000. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's just basically somebody was shown that one to click on more than they were shown the other one. But like, I think my subscriber and versus the amount of people that watch my videos, I think, like I said, I believe last time I looked, it was like 87% people who watch my videos aren't subscribed and 13% are. But I've noticed my subscriber thing seems like it's going slower than what it was. But it might just be because it's summer, less people are watching YouTube. I don't know. I don't know the reason behind any of it. Let's see. No OPEC, no problem. Do you use insulated gloves when you do electrical work? What brand? Not really, but I don't work on like big stuff either. I pretty much work on just normal residential and just the normal stuff you run into in a house and commercial receptacles. Like, I don't do any kind of like installing whole panels or anything like that. That's not something that I do. Not that you probably shouldn't wear stuff even when you got your hands. I know I got in trouble for one of my watch me works of my bare hands being in a panel. But again, I've been doing it forever, and that's usually what ends up being the problem. Whenever you do something forever, you end up getting bits, kind of like riding a motorcycle type thing. But I don't have any because I don't work on that kind of stuff that I feel like I need it. Johnny Everett, do you use the Vito apron? Been tempted to buy the tool belt. I did use it. I'm probably not going to use it that much anymore because of my vest. That Atlas vest I feel like is an apron, but I like the way that it, I can unzip it and bend over and stuff with that. I use the apron basically if I'm working on stuff here, like if I'm building a bookcase for somebody or something like that. I kind of use it like a woodworker apron, I guess, but I've never worn it like, I did wear it on I've got a video installing cabinets, and I wore it for that because I knew I wasn't going to be doing a lot of bending over and stuff. So I have worn it to install cabinets before, but again, now I will probably just wear my Atlas vest. It's not bad for the price because like I originally bought the Atlas apron thing like that before I bought the Saratoga vest, and I didn't like the way that it fit on me, so I ended up sending it back. That's when I got the Saratoga vest, but then I saw the Vito one. I didn't even know they had it, and it was like $100 versus the Atlas one was like $250. So I bought it. So it's a nice vest for $100, and I don't know how much the tool belt costs. The tool belt would probably be more useful for somebody like physically moving around and working, because you could flip it around to the back and you could do all sorts of things like that with it. What's up, Timinator? Let's see, Matt HMM, are you going to get anything besides Tough Build on your channel coming up? He's probably talking to you, Tim. Let's see, Stefan, a week ago, I just gave away my old Big Demo hammer to some acquaintance of mine. The perspective of dealing with some undecided knuckleheads just put me off from trying to sell it. Yeah, I've gotten to that point. Like, I've got like 15 listings on Facebook right now. And I've almost got to the point where I'm like, I'm just deleting all these things because selling stuff is crazy. Like, you'll get people wanting to give you like nothing for it, or they'll tell you they want it. You'll agree on a price, and then they won't show up to meet you at wherever it is you're supposed to meet them. I mean, people are just, it's bottom line is it's people. People have become crappier in the last several years than what they used to be. Let's see, Rob Hollenbeck just got some ice cream from the deli across the road. That'd be nice right now. Here I am in a brawl sweat, and you're bragging about your ice cream. Why don't you just FaceTime me and eat it in front of me, Rob? Stefan J. Daniels, most of those new big shop tool brands are similar. Just go for one battery platform. There's no bigger nuisance than having 6 or 8 different chargers. Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I have Metabo in Milwaukee, and that's about it. And then I've got, some smaller tools as well. But ultimately, I think if there's been times where I've thought about buying stuff just for this, but I really don't want to go down the rabbit hole of I'm buying tools just to review them. I kind of like the aspect of I'm buying the tools that I'm going to use, and I'm going to show you those. And if they work for you, they work for you. Just because I don't want to spend money on some tool and then just have it sit in my garage forever just so I can make a video about it, those kinds of things. I like hand tools. Now, I've probably bought more hand tools. I won't do it with battery powered tools, I don't think, ever, just because for that reason. I don't want to buy a battery powered tool of a bunch of different brands and then I'm never going to use them because I'm not going to put them in my truck and have to keep up with a charger and a battery and all those things. Hand tools, a little bit different story. I love trying out hand tools. Hand tools are probably my favorite tools as far as to work with. I would 10 times rather, that's why I said long term, I want to go into more service work, and that's another reason why is because I love just a job where all I got to carry in is a tool bag, and I get to get out different hand tools and use those to get the job done. It's like that's my favorite thing to do. So that's another reason why I think I like service work. I'm not packing drywall sheets. I'm not, carrying studs and all those kinds of things. It's just a lot easier, labor intensive work as you get older, but the puzzle aspect of it is more in the service. And I like, again, it's like you have a whole little arsenal of tools right there in a small compact bag, and you get to get them in and out and see what you can do to fix it. Let's see. Joey, we watch you because your content's good, not because of some promise of giveaways. Oh yeah, I do giveaways basically because one is, if somebody's going to send me something, I always ask them. Sometimes they send me two things, sometimes they don't. So I do that just because if they're willing to send it to me for free, it's just an advantage for y'all for me to give you guys one. But other than that, I just I've thought about doing a giveaway just because I've got a lot of extra tools laying around that normally I give away locally anyways. Like all my screwdrivers, I'm a screwdriver guy. I can't keep all of them, but I'm still going to continue to buy some and try them out. But a lot of times in times past, I'd just be working around people and they'd look at screwdrivers and I'd be like, here, you want a set of these or whatever. And I can do the same thing with you guys. It costs me a little bit of money for shipping and things like that, but it's not really that big a deal. Y'all help me out a lot. You guys use affiliate links and you help out by watching videos, liking videos, commenting. It allows me to make a little bit of the money that I spend on tools anyway. So even if it costs me some shipping, it's kind of me just returning the favor that you guys do. Wyatt the Pilot, YouTube is a weird company, but either way, we're all super thankful to have you as a creator on the platform. See, Matt HMM, don't be like me and have a charging card on site with 10 different ones. It's hard when you need something like skill, auto hammer, etc. Yeah, every now and then there's like this tool in a platform that you can't get in anything else, and then you're forced to buy it if you want to. I'm hoping that the battery adapter stuff kind of takes off eventually, which I've got that. Like I still have some Bosch 18 volt tools. I've got like my Bulldog SDS rotary hammer SDS Plus, and it's got the chisel mode on it that takes batteries because I don't have any of the M18 versions of that, so that's why I kept that one. But I've got the M12s, but they don't have that chisel mode on it, which that new M12 one does. So once I get that, I might end up selling the Bosch one or getting rid of it or doing whatever. But I bought a battery adapter to fit on that. I've also got a little Bosch blower that I keep in my truck, and I got a battery adapter to take Milwaukee batteries. There's certain tools that's probably okay to use that on, and there's certain tools that aren't. And then I think you might have to be careful. Again, I'm just saying this. I don't know this is fact or anything, but like if you go buy like the Bosch ones, I've noticed if I take my high output batteries and put it in that blower, it's like something happens. It's not like every now and then the tool will just quit, because I don't think that tool is capable of doing something with that battery that the Milwaukee tools can. So you might have to just always use regular batteries if that's the case. Again, I'm just saying that. I have no idea. There's no scientific reasoning behind that. That's just based on my experience with it. Let's see. Wyatt the Pilot, do you have an insulated screwdriver recommendations for electrical? Probably best bang for your buck is the insulated climb with the little flip deals, because you can get like the whole set, like with square and Phillips and slotted, especially if you're an American, like a person that's going to be using it, because there's a lot of bits in some of those other sets that you'll never really use that much. But that one, for like, I want to say it's like 20 something bucks. You get all that, and it's really easy storage. I like how you get two things in one blade, so you can flip them around, so you can always carry your slotted and Phillips or your square 1 and square 2 and use that like your combo or ECX bits.
But I really like Vera insulated screwdrivers with the laser tips on them. That's the ones I typically keep in my bag. As far as dedicated screwdrivers, they work really well, and the laser tips are phenomenal. They're like the best. That's the best thing I like about the Vera screwdrivers more than anything is those tips. But the handles are fine for me. But the Vera, some people like them, some people hate them. I think it depends on your hand size because I've got some here actually, I guess. 552, yeah. So like here's the number 2. Let's see if I can get it, the laser tip on there. You can see that laser tip right there really grabs screws, but hand size wise, like that fits my hand, like it's like they form fitted it to my hand. But if you're a bigger guy, a smaller guy, you know, I'm right in that probably average range, I guess. I'm 6 foot, whatever, but the 5.5 Vera, the little slotted, again with the laser tips. Awesome for outlet screw covers and all that stuff. This is like the main one I use to put outlet covers on because you can stick the outlet cover screw right on there. In fact, let me see. I'll just take one of these out real fast. Like you put that on there and it just stays. So like you never drop them. You can stick it right in there and start twisting. So it's like the best screwdriver for outlet screw covers because of the laser tip. The laser tip's what holds them on there. So that's the 2. I don't know if I got the Klein one. Yeah, the Klein one's here. Actually, that's not it. I've got the blade out here, a blade. I don't have the screwdriver's in my truck, I think. But the one that takes these bits here. So like there's your Phillips on that side, slotted on that side. Just the fact that you carry 2 of them at one time, I think that's what makes that nice, because if you're going to put it in a pouch or something like that, that's a slot saved right there. I don't know what I do with I always lose my phone with my chat thing on it. I set it on the same place every time, but for whatever reason, I never remember that. Matt HMM, I don't suggest the apron or belt. It's hot and restrictive. I would suggest getting a tool vest or a proper belt. Yeah, that'd be my recommendation if that's the way that you're going to go. But I wouldn't get the apron for sure to work in the field. It's just there's too many things when you're climbing up a ladder, when you're bending over, it just doesn't work. It's to me it's a woodworker type thing. Or like I said, I've installed cabinets wearing mine before, but it's because I'm not really bending over and getting back up. Everything's just right in front of me typically. But I wouldn't buy it as far as to work out of. Stefan, Matt HM, unfortunately, I'm a Makita guy, and they really do have everything I need. All Fest-Tools I own are corded, so it sorts all my problems. Yeah, I don't think we have near as much Makita options as what y'all have over there. There are several tools, but my area, nobody uses them. Like, I don't know anybody personally that has Makita tools. And my Home Depot section, actually, my Home Depot doesn't even have a Makita section anymore. They got rid of it, so if they've got them, I don't know where they are. So you can't even really get them. Maybe at a supply house, probably HVAC, you might could get one. I gotta get a drink. But y'all selection on Makita is probably pretty similar to like our selection of DeWalt and Milwaukee. We just got that, and I think that's why they're the 2 bigger brands here, because there's just so many tools that you can get within those things. Well, I use the Weehaw insulated a lot and love them. The Annex VDE bits in my vessel. Nasty Nate, would you consider switching to a service van? Yeah, it's like if my truck, if I ever have a problem with it, but right now I owe nothing on my truck. I haven't owed anything. I mean, I went and bought it whenever I bought it. And, you know, I've got the deck drawers in it. I've got that top. It's working out for me. But I do see myself, my next vehicle probably being a van. And maybe like if my service stuff picks up and I decide to shift over to 100% that sooner than later, I would. But at the moment, it costs me nothing to have my truck. And, you know, I just as soon, and I've got it kind of set up to where it's working for me and all those kinds of things. And if I went and got a van, I'd have to spend money on the van. I'd have to spend time
outfitting it. I'd have to spend a lot of time on things. I'm actually debating on, I really want to get myself a bigger building where I can pull my vehicle into it easier and stuff like that too. But I haven't decided if I want to make this one bigger or if I just want to build another one all together in the big scheme of things. But I'm not sure what I'm doing on that yet either. All of it's really hard because I don't want to pay somebody to do it, but I don't have the time to do it right now if I wanted to do it, unless I just did it every night and every weekend, and I don't want to do that either. So I've been back and forth on it, what I want to do with that. BizY, hey MM, I liked your video on the Spider tool holster. Do you think the stainless steel drill pin is a good upgrade for the holster? It's not. I like it just because I like the look, and I wanted to buy one to get me. I think they put that small M12 screw in every single one of the packages now, but at the time when I bought all mine, you know, you didn't get one for that. But I mean, I don't imagine that this one's really going to break anyways, because ultimately you've got the metal screw is really what's the structure of it. This is just a coating around the outside. I can imagine the stainless one, it's in my truck, would probably last more, like longer, not have a problem. You're not going to wear stuff or anything like that. And it's not that much more. The only problem is you can't buy it in the kit. I'll go out there and get it real fast. Let's see. I went out here earlier and it didn't mess up. I didn't know how far away I could get away from my mesh thing and it not be a problem. So yeah, so there's the stainless one right there. I keep it on my Surge. But that's the whole reason why I bought that, was because all the pins came with, didn't come with a screw to fit this generation of M12. So that's why I bought it, and I just decided to get the stainless so I could try it. Yeah, I think my back seat in my last loadout was still here. I don't, if I remember right. So I've added stuff to hang, you know, different pouches and things like that on. So, and then again, I got more, which I've got this loaded out for some jobs I'm doing. I got my small miter saw, some plumbing stuff and stuff like that. But I've added a couple different drawers and stuff like that. But all my deck drawers and all that stuff's all the same pretty much for the most part. But I don't know that like I said, it's more of a aesthetic thing personally. Now, if you, again, depends on what kind of environment you work in. One might last a little longer than the other, but I can't imagine with what I do that I'm going to wear out this plastic one. And like I said, that screw is basically the whole inside of this plastic nub anyways, and then the down through the middle. So that's where all your strength is on it. So I can't imagine you're gaining a whole awful lot. Let's see, Stefan, why'd the Pilot go Wera craft form with interchangeable blades? So yeah, you can get you a set of Wera that works kind of the way that I talked about that Klein as well. And they're not bad if you priced it. Like if you went and bought, like this set here though on Amazon is not bad. It's like $30 and you get, I bought like 2 sets of these. But it just depends on if you're putting them in a bag, it takes up a lot of room to carry a bunch of individual screwdrivers. But you know, I think it comes with, I don't remember which ones of these came in it because not all these did, and there's also some other ones. But I think I got a square number 2 in that set, and that's the reason why I bought that set. And it comes with a green handled square number 2. I think it's in my MCT bag, possibly. It might be over in here. Yeah, I've got 2 sets of them, so. Yeah, the set that's on Amazon also comes with a square 1 and square 2, and you don't find that in a lot of brands. Like, especially, I was surprised Wera actually had them, to be honest with you. So that's the whole reason why I bought that set right there. But the individual blade set might have it too. I've never bought it, so I'm not real sure. Let's see. Hey, Wacky Wayland. You missed everything. Let's see, we would love to have tools you use, sign them and send them. We will keep them. Yeah, I've got myself, I went and ordered myself some hats. I've got them, let me drop this down some.
some people have asked me about that, but I'm like, I can't imagine anybody wants to wear a mortgage maintenance hat or swag stuff. And plus, by the time I buy a hat and go get it done, I don't do it in a large quantity, and then ship it. It would be astronomical and cost wise. You know, it's not very efficient. So that's why I've never had like. I normally throw in stickers and stuff like that on the giveaways that I've given away, only because I printed some. I don't actually have any, and it's a real big pain for me to do it because I don't have like a thing that I just printed some of these on a printer to put them on a box before, but I normally cut these out, but I don't have like a Cricut machine or one of those things that cuts out this circle, so you got to sit there and go around that with a pair of scissors. It's a big pain, but I've not looked into any of that stuff. Let's see. Bob Billick, I have most of the big name battery tools only because I'm a tool freak. My daily use tools are Milwaukee and Metabo. Yeah, I have owned a lot of them over the course of time, different ones and things like that. Like I said, I've run Rigid, Bosch, DeWalt. Makita's the only one I haven't ever run. Like I used to have a really old Makita. I've said it before. I can't remember if it was like 9.6 volt or it was 14.4 volt or something like that. I don't remember, but it was like a pistol grip, like real thin, took batteries, almost like that DeWalt gyroscope, like that kind of a look to it. That one that Matt sent me, I keep that in my tool vest. You know, it almost had this kind of a look to it, and you could use it like that, but it was Makita. It was the green color, but like it was definitely bigger than that. That's the only Makita tool that I can even think of that I've ever owned. But again, it's not very readily available. Like, I don't know anybody that runs it in my area. My door's shut, and I don't have quite the breeze. I'm gonna open it back up. Let's see, where'd I miss? Rob said he loves Makita. Over here, they are the main brand. Wacky Wayland. I can't really think of anybody who dislikes Metabo. Yeah, the heat gun that I bought, I like it. That's okay. It doesn't have quite the tip on it that I would like for it to have, which they got several different versions of this thing. Like, this seems like to me it's the tip on it's just a. I mean, it's still going to be fine for what I'm going to use it for. I typically put down like floor leveling stuff or something with a crown stapler, or I can put together boxes and stuff now where it doesn't matter where the fastener is instead of using nails. I think staples are just a lot stronger for that. But if you get into doing like some tongue and groove sealing or something, I think it's going to be kind of hard to get this to, you know, get where you want it to be with this kind of tip on it. So, but they got like 4 or 5 different ones. But as far as tools wise, again, I had a Hitachi that takes the same batteries, so I think they're similar brand-wise. I liked it, so that's why I went ahead and bought it. And I really like that triple hammer. I get it out and use that every now and then just as something different instead of using my Milwaukee stuff. I like it. It seems to work pretty well. Again, I'll run different tools sometimes just to be different, just to make the job seem a little bit different. Let's see, Stefan Kovalik, Joey, so Home Depot is actually saving your home budget. If you saw all the Makita tools, you'd buy them. Yeah, I know, like I said, I know there's tons of them out there, but getting your hands on them here is a total different story. Now, I'm sure, like, I could probably get online and get most of the things that y'all get. I'm sure, like, you know, like the Acme tool type things of the world and stuff like that probably has them. Home Depot just doesn't carry, I don't think, very much at all anymore. Like I said, now that I say that, I hadn't paid attention, but I'm just picturing walking through my store just the other day, and I don't even think there's a Makita section at my Home Depot anymore. There used to be, but it was very small. You're talking, you know, drill, impact, sawzall, you know, those kind of tools, and that was about it. I have seen some on the clearance back there. A time or two. Matter of fact, there's a light back there right now. There's some kind of a light that's Makita. But again, I don't even think there is a tool section at my Home Depot anymore for Makita. TPG, the Makita 14.4 volt drill was my payment for some wiring I did in a Victorian area house. it could put a 3/4 spade bit through real 4x4 framing. Yeah, that was the one I remember whenever I had it. That was a tool a lot of people had for whatever reason. Like it was really big in my area. And I don't know what the reason was behind that, but that's what it was. And I didn't buy mine at a store. I got mine from somebody too. That's how I ended up having mine. Rob Holland, the SDS with dust extraction from Makita is epic. You're welcome, Biz Y. Let's see, Stefan Ramhan, dirt cheap. This was 30 years ago. The battery was in CAD. Yeah, that's the same way mine was. Intimidator the Tool Man. I got a bunch of different stuff coming up on videos. Let's see. Wyatt the Pilot would love a Morgan's maintenance hat. Yeah, like I said, I've got 3 of them at the embroidery place right now, and it cost me like $50. I bought the hats off Amazon, so they were, let's say, $10 a piece. I think they were like 8 or something like that. So that's $30, let's just say. And then I've got the 3 of them, which, like I said, if you did a bunch of them, you would, get a cheaper price. But I'm just buying them for myself, so it isn't like I'm doing an order of 200 of them or something like that. But it cost me $50, I think, to get 3 hats done. So you're at $80 right there. So if you divide that by 3, what's that come out to? That's some weird number. So about $25, $27 or something like that. And then you're going to have to pay to ship them on top of that. So you're looking at a pretty expensive hat when it's all said and done per hat, How's it going, Nathaniel? Bob Billick, I'm not crazy on my truck setup. I have the deck boxes with the camper shell. My truck payment is a killer. Would like to trade it in for a small Ram van next time. Yeah, I bought my truck in 2016, I think it was. And then, so I've had it for 8 years now, I guess. I think I've got 130,000 miles on mine. But back in the day before, which really I don't put that much more miles on my truck now working for myself than I did even work, because I'm driving to the same town where I worked before I went out on my own. And whenever I worked at that place, I still drove my own truck to Lowe's and Home Depot and all that, just because it was easier for me than to go get in the company truck and deal with people's mess in the truck and all that kind of stuff. So I always just drove my own truck for that stuff too. So I'm probably putting the same amount of miles on my truck working for myself, maybe a little bit more than I did whenever I worked for the company, because I'm still driving to the same town from my house. TPG, I think our Lowe's has Makita. I have to recheck. Yeah, I don't think mine does. My Lowe's has DeWalt, Flex, Metabo, Bosch. As far as power tools, that's what they've got. I don't think they got anything else. And then hand tools, they've got Klein now, but power tools, I think that's the only ones they've got in Cobalt and Craftsman. I guess they got those as well. So Cobalt, Craftsman, DeWalt, whatever else I just said, Metabo and Bosch and Flex. That's pretty much what my Lowe's has. And then my Home Depot has Robi, Rigid, DeWalt, and Milwaukee. And I think that's it on battery powered tools. Jay Daniels, how often do you use a nibbler? Not very often at all. I've got a job where I was supposed to be building a maintenance barn for a company, but they haven't decided what they were going to do. And I was going to buy the M12 one for that job specifically and then have it, but I'm waiting to see if I get that job or not. So I'm actually hoping that they don't call me in the next little bit and say they want to do it, because I don't have the time to do it now. But I don't use one very often at all. I don't even own one right now. I've got like the shears, and then other than that, I've always just used a saw or something. But a nibbler, if you did very much work on like metal siding, metal roofing, metal whatever, it'd be worth having for sure. Stefan, I would not recommend buying a new line of tools online. In that instance, you need to see and touch them. Yeah, I 100% agree with that too. I don't like, there's certain tools, even in my own tool line, like I said, the rear handle that's coming out, I've already got a Milwaukee rear handle saw. That's the saw that I like to have other than my M12. I kind of got both ends of the spectrum with that. If I need really high power or if I don't need it, I got really lightweight. But if the new M18 rear handle comes out, I'm not going to just order it online and get it sent here and then just buy it. I want to go to the store, physically hold it in my hand, lift it up and down. Is it that much lighter than my other saw? What other features does it have? Some of that stuff, the features and stuff, you can kind of see it through pictures and stuff online, but it's still something different of picking up that tool and holding it in your hand and seeing how it feels, the weight of it and the balance of it, all those kinds of things. Amy Fogarty, I'd like to see Morgan's maintenance sexy calendar for 2025. I don't know that anybody wants to see that. Stefan Kovalik, but ATM, the best power price at the moment. I said ATM as if I was just reading it. It's the best power price capability tools on the market. Wyatt the pilot, when I graduate, I plan on going into heavy machinery, probably starting as a laborer and working my way up. I know it's not your area of expertise, but what should I keep in my truck to have it job? So heavy machinery, you're talking about like running dozers and skid steers, backhoes, those kinds of things. There's a guy up the road from me that's what he's done his entire life. Now he works a ton of hours. He works all the time, but makes a killing at it. And he owns all his equipment and all that stuff. And the reason why he's always so busy is because there's really not very many people in my area that does it. So he's always backed up. Like he's probably, I think last time I talked to him, I think he said he's 2 years out on jobs. Like if people call him, he's 2 years out from being able to do your job. That's how busy he is. But I'm sure you're going to need like probably high torques and, you know, sockets and impact sockets, basically all those kinds of things. Almost like a mechanic in a way. It's basically what you're going to be if you're going to be working on that kind of equipment, but you're going to need even like the heavier duty versions of all those kinds of tools. Stefan says you also get Makita reliability, no malfunctions 2 days after warranty ends. Yeah, that happens sometimes on other tools. Which I've gotten lucky so far. Most of my stuff that something has on Milwaukee, I haven't had anything break other than that. The Surge is the first one that's broke, and I mean I use the fire out of it, so it's probably my most used tool. So the fact that it did give up, even at the amount of time I'd had it, I wouldn't have been surprised had it given up just on normal use. But the fact that I could send it in and they fixed it, I thought that was pretty cool. TPG, I know they're lighter duty, but none of our Robi one has ever failed except for one battery. Yeah, they're not bad tools. Robi's not bad tools. They get a lot of junk on YouTube just because, and on job sites just because basically tools on job sites, just like high school, you know, and all that stuff, where sometimes you've got stuff just because it's the cool thing to have or whatever, but you know, all tools will get the job done. Some will last longer than others, but that's not to say you won't get a Robi tool. It's the same thing as vehicles. You can go buy a new truck and it break down in, you know, 2 years, and you can be driving an old one for 20 years. Or, you know, you can buy, you know, a new tool of some brand that costs you a ton of money, and that doesn't mean it's not going to break. And you can buy some cheap tool, and that doesn't mean it's not going to last forever. Everything's just based on use case, based on something happened to it at the factory. You know, every now and then there's lemons and everything, and then every now and then there's stuff that just is crazy how long it lasts. It just, you never know how it's gonna work out 100%. Rob says I have nothing against Robi except the color. Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. I'm the same exact way. I'm really that way about DeWalt too. I don't like that either. I don't like bright colors like on my tools. Like I like the Metabo green. I can live with that green. It doesn't bother me. And I'm like you. I know it sounds kind of silly that I'm not going to buy a tool because of what color it is, but I much prefer. Like I love the Makita ones that are black. Like those are nice looking. I wish Milwaukee was black. The Flex Gray is nice looking. I like more of that. I don't mind the red because, again, it's not like a glow-in-the-dark red. It's more of like a deep red. Like, I like deep colors, I guess, in my tools. And it's also, you know, just doesn't show dirt and stuff as much as, like, that DeWalt. If I use that on jobs and got, you know, scuffed it up real bad, like, you can't get it off there. It's just going to always look that way. And, again, some people are going to say, well, that's just what it is. That's called working. But it doesn't mean I have to like my stuff not looking good. I like it for it to look good, and the darker colors seem to work better. Stefan says Robi looks like cheap 90 toys from a dollar store, but on a positive side, it is hard to lose them. Yeah, I guess that is the upside of it. You can always spot those tools. But like I said, I've seen Robi tools being used on job sites by lots of people, like in my area, because again, they're cheaper. And I have some Robi tools, like I've got the transfer pump. Although I was going to buy the M18 transfer pump, but I just watched a video of Quality HVAC, I think is what his name is. I think he's out of Tennessee. And he was pumping out a pan from an HVAC unit that overflowed. And he had a little pump on Amazon that you just plug into a receptacle. And he was using his top off with it. And it was working fine. I just bought the top off recently. And I thought that's a whole lot smaller package. And then I don't have to, keep up with that tool in my truck if I've got the top off already, and I can keep some little small pump that I can plug into the top off. I think that's the route that I'm going to go. I'm going to buy that and keep it in my truck so that if I ever need some kind of a small transfer pump, I'll have it in my truck, but I don't have to pack that big Milwaukee one all the time. Let's see. Wyatt the Pilot Robi is amazing for homeowners in my experience. It does everything you need for general home uses. However, it falls a bit short at heavier usage. Yeah, again, I've never used one in my job stuff. I used to have a Robi drill and driver. I think I sold it on Facebook or I gave it to somebody. I ended up getting it. I was working at the mall in my area. We were installing stuff for, I always get it mixed up. It's not Bed Bath & Beyond, but Bath & Body Works. I was installing their doors for the whenever they shut up the store and all that stuff. And then we were putting in some other panels and things like that. But they had hired a company, which a lot of times like big stores like that do. They will hire a company from, some crazy state that's really far away and fly the guy in, and he's there to oversee the job and do stuff. And he told me he flies to everywhere he goes to do work, and then he goes to the Home Depot and he buys himself Robi tools, and then he just leaves them there. So he left them and gave them to me, and it was a drill and a driver and I think a small saw that he gave me, because he said it cost more to ship it back and forth than it was to just, have it there and just go to Home Depot and buy it and leave it. So I think I ended up giving them to somebody or something. I don't have them anymore, but I never use those other than just around my house. I didn't ever use them on a job. Let's see. Rob, the Japan line of Makita has lots of color options. I would love to see some of those. Nathaniel says he now owns Milwaukee. Let's see. TPG, it's why I felt no need to replace them. Wyatt the Pilot, 100% right. I mostly see them used by DIYers, fairly reliable and cheap tools. Here, Robi have some smart buying options with battery sets and the nice sales. And again, I'm reading these comments out loud because if you don't go back and watch it on your computer, you don't get to see the chat and stuff in the lives, like on the series premieres. And again, I haven't checked this since I've been doing lives, but used to on the series premieres for the Guess the Trades, even if you watch that later, you could go on your TV and turn the chat on and watch the chat on the side while you were watching the video. But they may have taken that off too. I'm not real sure. I haven't done that in a while. I'm normally on my computer watching that because I'm chatting during that as well. Wyatt the Pilot, Cobalt is seriously underrated. Amazing farm work tools, reliable, strong, and a good price. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about them too. I've never used them either, so I can't say anything about them. Pretty much, I don't even look at power tools at DeWalt. Every now and then now, I will go over to that Metabo section just to see if they got something clearanced. But Lowe's, tools-wise, I pretty much walk into that store. I go back to that back aisle, 75% off, and if it's not back there, there's not a whole lot I'm going to buy in Lowe's as far as tools. I will check the Klein section every now and then, but they don't put out new stuff at mine until it's already been out online for a month and a half. So I've already either seen it and bought it somewhere else. So I don't do a lot of tool looking at my local Lowe's. Materials on clearance at Lowe's, I tend to find some pretty decent deals, but not on tools. Let's see what time it is. 11:39. I'll chat for a little bit longer. I don't know how long we've been in here. It looks like almost 99 minutes and something like that, I guess it is. And I didn't really have a whole lot to do today. I think, like I said, I might get my lawnmower out and sharpen my lawnmower blades. I thought about doing that today, but of course we got the guest to trade at 1 o'clock. But I thought I'd just go ahead and come out here because, again, Saturdays is about the only day where I can schedule something a little bit earlier in the day. And even now, there might be some Saturdays where I'm going to that job that I just did a video for. I might have to work there some on Saturdays if I need to stay on top of the schedule or something like that. But this is really about the only day where I could do a live at a time for people over in the UK and stuff like that to be able to be a part of it as well. That's like, I know Matt, who came in here, I'm sure he's working today, so it's harder for some people because a lot of guys, especially in our line of work, you almost work a lot of Saturdays. I don't do that anymore. Again, I'm at a stage where I'm not working on the weekends unless I absolutely have to. I'm not working late at night unless I absolutely have to. And it has to be somebody's in a bad shape predicament in order for me to really do it. I'm not just going to do it just for whatever reason. I'm mostly just doing it to help somebody out because they're in a bad shape. Stefan, as we agreed, always buy tools that you have batteries to and ones that are available locally in terms of service as well. Wyatt the Pilot, I love Lowe's for their Klein, Tough Built, and Cobalt, but everything else I get at the Big HD. Rob Holland, 75% off. We've never ever heard of that. Well, it's always up to 75% off. I don't know if there's really ever anything back there 75% off. Now, the one good thing about Home Depot's clearance is sometimes, like those drywall pans, you get up there and stuff still rings up less than what even, so you think you're already getting a good deal, and then you get up there and ring it up and it's even less. I mean, it was another half off of that. And then there's been a few things like those extension cords and stuff like that I got for a penny. But Lowe's, it's usually pretty decent back there, but sometimes it's very little off. But Home Depot's the same way. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't even know why y'all mess with paying somebody to go around and print out yellow stickers and spend the money on the yellow stickers and put it on this, because it's like 50 cents off or something like that. It's like it had to cost you more money to pay somebody and in that sticker to go and redo that than it would be to just, lose it or do whatever. I don't know. Elliot Parrish, I believe Robi started to buy a battery and get a tool for free. Thankful they started that. Yeah, that's always nice. That's the way to go. And then, like, I have enough batteries, so I will, normally what I do first is I'll put the battery on Marketplace and see if somebody wants to buy it. And then if nobody wants to buy it, if it's hackable, I take it back to the Home Depot and return it. But I typically try to sell the battery on Facebook for that hackable price first, just to see if somebody needs a battery and they want it one cheaper or whatever, they can do that. But then if after a few weeks or so, if I don't get any bites on it, I'll take it back to Home Depot. Wings and pizza, you have a beverage fridge in the shop? No, but I'm not real far from my house, so I just bring stuff out here with me. And I don't do a lot. Like, once I get in work mode, like if I'm working, I don't eat, I don't drink. Like, my whole brain just works like there's been several times where I've got myself in trouble working outside where, I just get in the groove of things and like it doesn't even cross my mind to drink and to eat and stuff like that. My brain just keeps going at it. And then next thing you know, I'm in bad shape, dehydrated, all sorts of things. But I don't keep a beverage cooler out here just because it's going to take up space, and I can walk in my house in 2 seconds and get one. What's a top-off pump and attachment? Unfamiliar with it. Well, the top-off is the Milwaukee battery. I'll go get it real fast. So it's basically like a little inverter. and it's got a receptacle on it, or you can charge, USB-C and stuff like that as well using your Milwaukee batteries, but it won't run everything. Like, just because it's got a receptacle on it doesn't mean that it is going to run like a refrigerator or whatever, a coffee pot, any of those kinds of things. And I hadn't really thought about it, but a Milwaukee transfer pump, it's pretty good size. Like, so if I wanted to keep one in my truck, and again, I'm not going to need one every day, so it's not something I want to put in my truck. But sometimes, you go and you want to pump out a toilet, or you want to pump out whatever, it'd be a lot easier. I have this in my truck anyways to charge my phone or to, charge whatever. And they sell a little bitty small pump that this will run. I'll put a link in the description of it whenever I get done filming this and all that stuff, of the one that I saw in that guy's video. But it was I think it's HVAC, quality HVAC. I think I watched his video the other day, and he had his up in the attic. And again, it's also smaller. It's a smaller setup. You got a little pump that's about the size of this and this. So to pack that in an attic or something like that, I think that's the way to go. So that's the route I'm going to go instead of buying the M18 transfer pump, because I've already got the top off. So that's not going to cost me anything. I think that pump cost $50 on Amazon, the one that guy had. So that's going to be a cheaper route anyways. Takes up less space. Still going to work for me. Now, if I was pumping a crazy amount of water, I don't know how much that little pump, will do, but it's going to do all the stuff that I want it to do. I'm never going to pump out like a swimming pool or something like that. TPG, Terry the top off. There you go. He's explaining it to you. Plumbing with Quaz, Morgan, mad love, my dude. I've been around a long time. You inspired me to start doing the YouTube thing as well. That's good. Like I said, I always love it whenever people start channels and stuff. Like, sometimes I guess some people might think of it as, oh no, it's more competition. It's like, again, I could care less if there's 1,000 million people on YouTube, and if you watch my video, you watch my video. But I always like watching other people's videos, so I'm glad when anybody that wants to make a video showing tools or showing their work or doing whatever, I love watching them. So the more people that do it, I'm all for it. Let's see. Should I send in my other setups? Okay. Should I send in my other setups for reload episodes? Yeah, you can if you want to. Yeah. I'm running low on both of them. I mean, I've got some, but I'm running low on both of them. So I may end up still going back to doing like one. And I always tend to kind of gear it down. Like if I can tell I'm running low, I'll just do like one in one episode or something like that. But yeah, you can send some in for the reload eps if you want to. Elliot Parrish, that will run a plug-in fan on the job site. Yeah, I've seen people run box fans and stuff off of it. Again, I don't know how big of a fan it will do. I've not really tried it. All I've used it for is to charge my phone and laptop and stuff like that so far. I haven't used it for anything else. I mostly bought it so that if I have a power outage, I can maybe plug up my router and TV and stuff like that in the house. I haven't tried it because I haven't had a power outage since then, but I know a lot of people said it won't run a refrigerator or stuff like that, and it would run a small refrigerator. I don't know, but I haven't tried it on any of that kind of stuff. There's tons of videos of whenever that first came out, the people showing you what it would work on and what it wouldn't. But even then, you got a fan, one fan versus another fan, or two different animals on how much oomph it takes and those kinds of things. Wyatt the Pilot, for my truck, I'm thinking of putting a deck system and classic cab. It's hard to find used cabs for my 2016 Canyon. I really like my deck system. I've had it I bought it whenever I bought my truck, so about 2016. Maybe I bought it a little bit later. It might be 2017. So I've had it for 7-8 years now. I did have one little spot on my drawer that broke off the other day. The plastic, I guess, had gotten a little weak, and I just super glued it back on. It's been holding strong. I put some CA glue and just sprayed the activator like crazy, and it hadn't came back off. So that's the only thing I've had happen. And I think it was something I did, because sometimes I stick stuff in my drawers, and then whenever I go to shut it, I didn't have them down in there just right, and it catches. And so it's probably something I did more so than the deck drawers fell themselves. But my deck drawers have also always been under a tonneau cover or tonneau cover. I never have known how you say that, or underneath my camper topper. So mine hadn't been exposed to the elements near as much as like some other people's might be. So that might be why it's lasted as long too. But I really like mine. The new ones look really nice. They look like they got more room in them and stuff too. Like they're more square instead of having that, you know, tapered edge. So I think you'll be able to fit more stuff in them. Wings and Pizza discovered my channel researching Vito bags. I really enjoyed your content. Appreciate that. Hey, I love me some Vito bags. They're probably one of the things I buy more than anything that I don't need, and I just want to try them. You know, like I won't buy power tools in some other brand, even though I think I might like it and would want to use it. But I'll buy Vito bags and try them because they really keep their value well. Like especially if I don't really use them that much. I'm willing to buy it and try it, especially during the spring promotion, because then I'll get like a bag for free. And then later on, you can put them on Facebook, and I've always sold them for pretty close to what I paid for them, because you're letting somebody buy them and not have to pay the tax stuff. And of course, they're not going to get that warranty like what you have, but I have never turned in a warranty on Vito. So I've even bought some Vito stuff on Facebook because it's like, yeah, I'm not going to get the warranty, but have I ever used the warranty with Vito? No, I'm willing to risk it. It isn't like it's $1,000 tool whenever you buy it. It's a couple $100. You know, the odds of something tearing up on it that is catastrophic to where you can't use it ever again, I think it's slim to none. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, I buy a lot of Vito bags, and then it might be a little, that's just like my MB5B. I've still yet to load it out and use it because I haven't had time, for one. And for two, it's not been a need, but I wanted to buy that bag. I have been using the SBLD that I got with it for free. I've been using it ever since I got it. So basically, I got the SBLD. I'm using it. I really like it. And then the MB5B sitting there. I've got it on Facebook. If someone wants to pay me pretty close to full price for it, I'll sell it, and then I'll buy it again later if it comes time to where I'm ready to use it and I think it would be a better fit for me. Or I'm giving them the opportunity to save tax money and maybe a few dollars on it if they want to buy it. But again, if I never sell it on Facebook, I don't care. I'll end up using it at some point anyways. The Ellen Makita Someway says, the Ellen Makita 18-volt tool I've had break was a hand vac. I love Makita, but so did the thieves. Rob Holland, there's a special place in hell for tool thieves. There's, I think, for thieves in general, but I really do hate people that steal tools, because I just think to myself, you're not only stealing something for somebody that they spent money on, but you're stealing something from somebody that they used to make money to provide for their family as well. So it's a double thing, you know, whenever you steal somebody's something, whether it's tools or whatever line of business you're in. You know, if you steal something that from somebody that, you know, they make a living with, I think that's pretty sorry, you know, especially, but most of the time it's people on drugs and they don't even think about anything. They're just on it. That's like the people who go and steal stuff, copper out of air conditioner units. You know, you got this $5,000 unit and they went and stole the parts out of it and probably make $50 or something like that on it. It's just crazy to me that you're willing to just mess up something of somebody else's for $5,000 for $50, when you could probably go up to some people and ask them and say, hey, I'm having a hard time. Do you have any money? And you could probably get $50 and not ruin somebody's air conditioner or whatever else. I think it's horrible, you know, stealing personally. That's the thing, Joey, right there. You got it right there. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's pretty crappy to steal from somebody that uses their stuff to work out of. Give me a drink. But yeah, I got this. Like I said, I was playing around with my TV. Let me swap it around here. So that way, like, maybe whenever I'm doing a live, it's really hard to be able to get it to zoom. I don't know why they don't let you do different zooms unless I've not clicked things. Let me click this here, see what it does. No, there's not a zoom option. Like, everything's always really zoomed in on the live stream stuff. So yeah, I was playing with this to see if I could put comments up there. So like, there's the guy, the woodworker wannabe, asking about the M12 gun that we asked about earlier. I thought that was pretty funny. This was an electrical box. I think I might have talked about this one time in a post, but in a video or something. I don't remember what it was, but I came in on somebody had a light that was wired up, and it had 220 volts going to it whenever our 240 or something. I don't remember what it was. Whenever I opened it up, they said their light wouldn't work, and I was like, well, you got way too much voltage going to it. So I dug around, I found this box right here, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I ended up just taking every bit of it apart and straightening it all out. But that was they had mixed basically, I expected there would be a white wire somewhere that was probably a switch coming back, and somebody got in this box and did some work at some time and just put all the white wires together. Because that's the problem with some people who aren't electricians, again, I've known electricians probably do it too, that they, boy, I was real close there. I can't tell you how many people think that color matters. And not that it doesn't matter if everybody does what they're supposed to with certain colors, but just because something is a color, that means nothing in electricity, because you don't know what somebody did with that color. That's just to help you kind of figure out, and if you're running wire, to remember this wire is this or this is that. And again, we typically use in the USA, the black, white, and green. But just because you get in a box and a wire is white doesn't mean it's not going to have voltage on it. Just because you get in wire in a box and it's black doesn't mean it's not going to have voltage on it, because you don't know what somebody else has done. So you can never go by wire color. So every guy that I ever trained in maintenance, they'd always, and they would call me all the time, be like, I got a black wire and a white wire and a red wire, and I'm trying to do this with it. Do you know which one I put where? And I was like, well, typically it'd be this, this, and this, but that means nothing. You got to get out your meter and you got to see what is what on those wires. You got to see what those wires have, because color means nothing in the big scheme of things. It's just a helpful thing for all of us. But that's what happened, I'm sure, on that was somebody they probably got up there, did some work, took a lot of stuff apart, and then they went and put it back together. They didn't check to see what anything did. They're just thinking, oh, here's a bunch of white wires. Put them in a wire nut, shove them in one of these things. I'm sure they're all neutrals, but one of them ended up being a hot coming back from a switch. So whenever, that means that hot was coming back in on the neutrals now. So now your neutral and your hots were both hot on that light fixture, which gave you the double voltage. Let's see. We'll read through these comments, and I'm going to head inside and get in the air conditioning and get ready for the guest of trade. Let's see. TPG, 100% willful wrongdoing deserves what I call the bucket. Shibit, I saw a non-electrician wire a switch and a light in parallel. Yeah, I've seen a lot. Like, it irks me whenever I hear, I just watched a bunch of shorts this morning where it's like, this is why you don't hire a handyman to do your electrical work and all that stuff. And it irks me whenever I see those videos, but just because I've seen so many electricians even that do the very same thing. Like I said, the type of work you get done not that it isn't about the title that a person has, but it's more about the person. Because there's plenty of electricians out there that cut corners. There's plenty of plumbers out there that cut corners. There's plenty of flooring people that cut corners, literally. And then every field that you look at, there's professionals who are only in that specific trade and have their licenses and have all those things, and they cut corners and they don't do stuff right way because it's profit, and stuff like that they care about. Versus, I want to find somebody who they want to do it the right way because this is how they want to do things. That's what they want to do. And that's the difference between some people. So again, whenever I see that stuff and it says, this is why you don't let a handyman do your electrical work. No, this is why you let somebody who doesn't know what they're doing or care about what they're doing do your electrical work. And again, I'm not saying that a handyman should do everything that's within electrical, but I'm just saying there's wiring a switch or putting in a receptacle or any of that kind of stuff like that. It doesn't take a lot of knowledge of the whole scheme of electricity and all that kind of stuff. Now there's certain things that you need to hire an electrician for 100%, but just because somebody's a handyman doesn't mean that they're bad at stuff. or the people that use the earth wire for switching. That's fun when you looking for a fault. Yeah, it's same. You'd be amazed at how much stuff, like that old building that I used to work in, some of the stuff, it just blew my mind how some people did some stuff. And it was always funny to me because whatever it was that they were wiring up, it might have been working, but it wasn't working right. And it was causing something else somewhere else that they had no idea about working wrong. But then sometimes people, when you work in a commercial space, they don't mention and say, hey, this thing's not been working right until 6 months later. You know, they'll be like, well, this has been doing this for 6 months. It's like, well, now I didn't know that this guy did electrical work over here 6 months ago, and that's actually whatever he did has messed up whatever you've got. That happens a lot in commercial stuff, not so much in residential stuff. I got to head out, MM. Thank you for this tool talk. Can't wait for the guest of trade. Yeah, I'm going to head out too, White. So appreciate you coming in. What always hacked me off is computer techs who make no effort to save clients' data. Yeah, again, it's a similar thing. There's certain ones that work in that field that care, and then there's certain ones that don't. It doesn't matter what the title is beside their name. That's what I'm saying. And that's in every field across the board. So just because you hire an electrician, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to get this extreme electrical service that's going to be coming. He's going to do work, because you might be getting the worst electrician that's ever stepped foot in your house versus somebody else that doesn't have necessarily that title. Let's see. Owen, and the electrician that runs a neutral to my air conditioner despite it being pointless like every time. Rob Holland, free wire is a free wire. Yeah. Well, I'm going to head out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all coming in. Again, I like doing these. I like chatting, and I like being able to spend more time with you guys other than the commenting back and forth randomly here and there. So I appreciate y'all coming on here. Again, I had some little clearance tools. To me, none of them were worthy of making like a tool haul video out of. Like, none of them were really tools. They were more products more than anything. So I thought, well, I'm just going to lead off with that. And again, I'll try to always have something that's a point behind the video whenever I do a live. That way, if you're coming in to watch it, you can watch the first 30 minutes of it, 20 minutes of it. And then if you want to sit around and chat afterwards because there's nothing else going on in your day that day for at least the next hour or so, then that's great. We'll spend some time together, but that's the goal behind it, I guess. Time for dinner before the tool bag video. Peace and have a blessed day. See you, Nathaniel. See you, Plumbing with Quiz. See you, Stefan. Glad you was able to be here today. You too, White. So see y'all on the next one.